When these African trade beads arrived from the Bead Chest, I knew I didn't want to make an ordinary necklace. So I combined them with bandana, cowrie shells, coconut rings, and jute cord. And somehow it all worked. Hello, beaders. Welcome to Beachside Bead Boutique. My name is Jerry. Today, we are creating a Coastal Chaos Relic necklace. And I want this to give the vibe of something you would find in a little artisan market near the ocean. So that's what we're going to create today. So stick around and let's get beading. And the tools that you're going to need to create this necklace are nylon jaw pliers, bail making pliers, needle nose pliers, flush cutters, round nose pliers, and bent nose pliers. And the items that you're going to need are, I have scrap bandana fabric. You will need some jute cord, cowrie shells. I'm using 2 of these coconut rings that I got from the Bead Chest. You will need some large jump rings and then also a large lobster clasp in gold. I have gold 20 gauge wire, some wax cord, a pair of scissors, and a ruler. And these are the beads that I'm going to use from the Bead Chest. And these are the Rose Medley Crobo beads. And these are the Orange Ashanti Glass saucer beads. Of course, you can use whichever beads you have if you don't have these, but I will link the Bead Chest in my description box so you could check these out. I mean, if you didn't see my bead haul from the Bead Chest, I will link that in my description box. Their beads are absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and get started with this Coastal Chaos Relic necklace. Okay, first we're going to make a flower out of cowrie shells. We're going to make a 4-petal flower. So it's going to look like this, something similar. Now I already made this, and I have a couple that I made. So I have this one with the tan, I have this one with blue, and I really like how these turned out. And I like them with the 4 petals. You can make them with 5. I've seen people do it with 5, but I like it with 4. So we are going to make one of these so I can show you how I did that, because we're going to incorporate this into the necklace. So cut a piece of wax cord at about 18 inches. I mean, this is longer than I need, I know, but that's okay. I would rather have it longer than not enough. I'm just going to go ahead and give my wax cord a little bit of a tug. It's not stretchy, but it does have a little bit of a give to it. Okay, so I'm going to take a cowrie shell, and these are the cowrie shells, the half cowrie shells. So see, the back is open. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go ahead and put 1 cowrie shell on, and then take it to the middle of my cords, because you're folding the cords in half. And then separate your cords and tie a knot. So you're just tying it like you tie your shoe. Then go ahead and pull that. And I'm going to take another cowrie shell and feed it through 1 cord and take it down to the other shell. And then go ahead and tie both of them together. So just tie a knot just like we did before. Now this is how I'm doing it. I know there are several ways to do it. And then I'm going to take another shell, put it through 1 cord, take it down to the other shells, and then tie both cords together. Tie 1 more knot. And I'm going to do 1 more. So I'm going to go ahead and take my shell and put it on 1 cord. Take it down to my other shells. And then tie both cords together. Pull it tight. Oh, now you got to make sure it's right though. There we go. Pull it tight. And I'm going to go ahead and tie another knot. Pull it tight. Now we have this nice clump of shells. But then go ahead and maneuver your shells around. You got to kind of pull them up, pull them apart so they look like a flower. And this cord is really easy to work with. Like I said, it does have some give, so you should be able to easily move the petals around. So we have something like that. Looks a little weird. Hopefully this will look right when we're done. I mean, I tried this a few different times to make sure that I, could get it right. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my cord and then wrap it around the shells. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie the cords together in the back. And I'm going to do it again, wrap it the other way a couple times. Just whichever, you just want to wrap it around the shells really well. Like I said, there's plenty of other ways you could do this. This is just the way that I'm doing it. I found it easy for me, so you just want to wrap your cord around your shells a couple of times and then, come to the back and tie it in a knot just to make sure that the shells stay in place. But we are going to put some brush on glue as well, so that'll help keep it stable. Okay, so something like that. Is it perfect? No. Am I okay with it? Yes. But what we are going to do is take some of my brush on glue and I'm going to brush it on the cord, and then that's going to harden the cord so then the cowrie shells are not going to move. So I'm just going to brush it really well in between the shells and on this knot really well so that this cord stays in place. You're not going to see the back of the cord, so you're not going to see any of this. This is my version of a cowrie shell flower. Now you could put something in the middle if you want to. You could put a bead or what have you, but I think I'm just going to leave it just as it is. Since we are using these very organic beads, I don't want to add any sparkle or anything to this necklace. Yeah, I like these. I think these are really cute. That would make a cute pair of earrings. So we may do that one of these days too. I really like these. I like to incorporate this and stuff. I'll go ahead and cut this. Okay, now I'm going to take 2 large jump rings, and I believe these are 10 millimeter, and I'm going to attach them to either end of my cowrie shell because we are going to attach this to the necklace. I know the necklace isn't made yet, but we're just having this ready. So just put it right through the cowrie shell. That, and then close it up. I'm going to take this one directly across from it. And close this up. So like this, and now this is ready for our necklace, which we are going to do now. Okay, so I'm going to start with my 20 gauge wire. So it's probably cut at about 6 inches or so. I mean, I'm not measuring anything. It doesn't have to be specific. Smooth this out. Just want to get all the kinks out. I mean, you guys know I'm not neat when I do stuff, and this necklace is not going to be neat at all. It's going to be a Coastal Chaos Relic necklace, so it's not going to be neat. Like I said, it's going to look like something you picked up at a small artisan market close to the ocean. Okay, so I'm going to take my 20 gauge wire and put it through a coconut ring. Now you want a couple inches going through the ring. So just like that. And then we're going to bend the wire right on top of the ring. So like that, we're going to form a loop. Now I want to make sure that I don't twist the wire exactly on top of the coconut ring because we want to have a little bit of movement. So I'm going to go just slightly above it like that. So I see I just bent it just a little bit above the ring, and I'm going to take my bent nose pliers and hold it there as I wrap the smaller wire around the longer wire. And again, I'm not making a neat wrap. So we have that, and that is perfectly fine. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece off here. Take my plier and then just kind of bend this piece down into the other wire so there's nothing sharp sticking out. Okay, and I'm just going to add some beads to my strand of wire here. And this doesn't have to be anything specific. If you guys know, and if you watch my channel, you know I don't really bead in any kind of a specific pattern. I just kind of randomly bead. That's just the way I like to do it. And you do it how you want to do it. So just like that. This is definitely going to be very artisan. Okay, now we're going to take our round nose pliers, so that's all we're going to add to that. So we didn't need this much wire, but we still have to wrap it. So I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm taking it a little bit above the bead because we do want to have some space here. So I'm going to bend this toward me, and I'm going to go all the way up on the round nose pliers. Actually, I'll probably get my bail making pliers instead. Now I'm going to take this around this ring here. So this is the second from the largest. And then loop that back around. And then I'm going to take my shorter wire and then wrap it around the wire that the beads are attached to. And I'm just haphazardly wrapping. Straighten out my loop. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this little piece of wire here. Okay, so this is the start of our necklace. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of bandana scrap. So I'm taking this piece, and this piece measures see, for your reference. So this is a 15-inch piece. That's probably the length of the actual bandana, the whole bandana. So, but I don't know. I didn't, you know, really measure when I cut. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Now go ahead and cut a piece of your gold wire. Cut a nice length. Probably about a 12-inch piece. Because you want to have enough, because we're going to wrap this around our bandana piece. Take your nylon jaw pliers and straighten this out. Cut off this little funky end. Okay, and then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and make a little coil at one end. Make sure you smash down your sharp edge as you do that. So just like that. Smash this down. Okay, I'm going to take my bandana piece and feed it through the loop that I made. That's on top of the little charm that we made. Okay, so we have this. And then I'm going to take my piece of wire, and I'm going to take the coil and put that on my bandana piece, just slightly above the loop that we made on here. Okay, and then I'm going to move this out of the camera, and I'm going to wrap this wire around my bandana. Like I said, it's slightly above the ring here. Okay, so I wrapped the wire around my bandana. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make a little coil at this end. So now our bandana is attached to our ring on our necklace, and it's tight. It's not going anywhere. You could adjust your ring if you need to. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make a knot. So about an inch away from our wire that we wrapped, we're going to go ahead and make a little knot here. Yep, that's about good. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my bandana and feed it through one of the jump rings on the cowrie shell. There we go. So take your cowrie shell down to the knot that we just made, and then take your bandana just right on the back of the cowrie shell. And then we're going to go ahead and feed the bandana through the top jump ring. And pull it all the way through. So we have this, and I'm going to go ahead and make a knot at the top of my jump ring here. That's good. And then I'm going to take one of my trade beads here. We might need to ream it. Let's see if this is going to go. Here we go. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Yes. Okay, it took some work, but that's okay. All right, so this is what we have so far. Okay, now I'm going to take another piece of my bandana and I'm going to tie it to this bandana right at the top here. So just tie these together. Okay, now we're going to take this around. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tie this end directly onto a coconut ring. Make sure you pull it tight. Okay, so we have that. Okay, and now we're going to make some more chaos clusters, as I like to call them. So basically how we did this, we're just going to make some more the rest of the way down the side of the necklace here. So just take your 20 gauge wire, but I am going to wire wrap these directly to each other. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so you want to take a piece of wire, probably about 6 inches long. Now I'm going to take this piece and then I'm going to form a loop just like we did on this side. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put on some beads like we did down here. So just, you know, no particular pattern. So like that. And then we're going to go ahead and create a loop. So I'm just going to bend this around and wire wrap it so haphazardly. Okay, so we have this. Now this is on the other side of the necklace. So see this right here. So this is one side. Then this is the other side. So we're going to go ahead and continue making some wire wraps. So I'm going to take my wire just slightly down, just a little bit. And we don't want to close it yet. You want to have a little bit of space because we are going to take this wire and attach it to the loop on the wire that the loop that we just created. And I'll wire wrap this a couple of times. Just enough, as long as it has one full wrap and it's attached to that other loop. Okay, and then take whatever beads. Actually, this one, I think I'm just going to put just one, just like that. And then we're going to wire wrap this. Okay, so this is what we have. So I added 2 chaos clusters, and I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple more. So probably about 2 more, and then I'm going to attach the clasp that's going to attach to our ring down here. So I'm going to go make the chaos clusters the exact same way we did here, and then I'll come back and show you what I have before we continue to the next step. Okay, beaders, so I finished making all the chaos clusters for this side of the necklace. So this is what we have. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and attach the clasp to this loop here. And that's going to attach to our large coconut ring at the bottom. Now this clasp I got from Hobby Lobby. It was in a pack of 2. And of course I will link everything in my description box for you. As long as I'm able to find the stuff online where I got it. And you can always check out my Amazon storefront for all my favorite boho jewelry supplies. Okay, so I open my jump ring and I'm going to attach this to my loop here and then close the jump ring. This jump ring is very thick, so it is hard to open and close. I don't know what gauge this is, but it is very thick. But I like this clasp because it is nice and large and it fits perfectly on the ring here. See? Yes. Yes, I really like it so far. I mean, is it shabby? Yes. Do I like it? Of course. But we are going to add some dangles to the bottom of our coconut shell right here. Of course, that'll be the focal. Yes, this is really cute and a really nice length. And of course, I will have a picture of the completed necklace at the very end, so you can see exactly how it looks completed, how long it is, and all that. Okay, so just give me a minute and I'll be right back. And now for our centerpiece, I'm going to use some of my wax cord to attach some dangles and then also some of the jute cord. So I'm going to add a cowrie shell to my wax cord and take this down to the center. And then I'm just going to take some beads, just whatever, nothing particular, and stick it on both cords. Fix this. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tie this around my coconut ring. Now you don't want it up exactly on the coconut ring because you do want a little bit of a swing to it. I'm going to tie a little bit lower. Tie a couple of knots. Pull it tight. I'm going to leave this string for now. And we'll go ahead and create one more. Now I'm not going to have them the same exact size. I want them, you know, a little bit staggered. So we'll do the same thing. We'll take a cowrie shell, put it through, and take it to the middle. Okay, I'm going to take my jute cord and cut probably about a 15-inch piece. I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot at the very bottom. So I want a little bit of my cord hanging down. Okay, now I'm just going to add some beads. And I want this to look frayed and worn. Actually, I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna tie a knot right here. So I'm gonna take my tweezers right inside the loop and right on top of the last bead and hold my tweezers there, and then I'll get my knot to land right there. I'll go ahead and make one. No, that's good. Tie a knot right here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tie this to my coconut ring. Now again, you want it to hang down a little bit. You could see the twine, that's fine. Just tie it in a nice knot. Go ahead and do it one more time. Okay. Now let me hold this up so I can see what the whole thing looks like to see if this looks good. Yes, and that looks good. Now we're going to go ahead and trim these cords. So I'm going to take my wax cord and trim that a little bit. Tie it one more time. Okay, so we have that, and I'm going to cut a little bit of this. I want to keep a little bit of the tail hanging. I don't know, it's just very artisan, authentic, handmade. I mean, I just like that, you know, the shabby look, so maybe fray it a little bit. I just like that very natural, kind of raw look, especially to this. I mean, this is, you know, very artisan African trade beads, so I just want it to look very natural and just, you know, very worn. Okay, we'll leave it just like that. And then we could fray these pieces right here even. Yes. It is very artisan and authentic looking with these beads. I like that, and I don't think I'm going to add any more. I think that's good for the focal. Okay, now we're going to go back to the coconut shell ring up at the top of the neck, and we're going to add a couple cowrie shells. So I'm going to add 2 large jump rings to this ring, and then I'm going to add 2 jump rings to my cowrie shells and attach them to the large jump rings. And do we need anything else? I'm going to add maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to tie it though. See if I add one of these. See, you're just gonna finagle stuff. Maybe. Let me try and tie a knot right here. Okay, make sure this bead doesn't come off. Okay, that worked. A little bit of, yeah, okay, that's good. I like that. I think that looks cute. So, and actually, that is all we're going to add. We're not going to add anything else. Do we need anything else? Maybe. Let me see how this looks. Yeah, I like it actually. Just this little bit of bandana here. I like that. Okay, so now we are not going to add anything else. I think that is good. Yes, I really like it. So we have our little detail up here. Here we go. That. So that'll be at the nape of the neck. And you know, I like stuff dangling at the nape of the neck. I mean, if I can, you know, have string or something there, then I like to attach stuff to the nape of the neck just to give a little design element. So it's, you know, something different to look at. So here's the top. And I might go ahead and cut a little bit of that off here. But you know, I do like the shabby look. And then our cute little coconut shell flower. I mean, our cowrie shell flower. Yes. Okay. Let me go ahead and get everything cleaned up and I'll come back and you'll see the whole thing. Actually, beaders, I decided I wanted to make a bracelet to go with our necklace. We are going to make a bracelet to go with our necklace. So this cord I'm using is a, I guess a 1.8 millimeter. I've never used cord this thick, or I don't usually, not stretch cord. So I'm going to cut a nice length of piece, more than what I need. And I'm going to give it a pre-stretch. You want a pre-stretch your stretch cord, and that's to prevent some, sagging and breaking. Because over time, the weight of the beads will cause the stretch cord to sag. So if you don't pre-stretch it, then it's going to cause a gap in between your beads as you wear it. Okay, so this is good. Nice pre-stretch. Okay, so for some unknown reason, I don't know what I did with my bead stoppers. I moved them somewhere and not sure where they're at. So I'm just going to take this little clip. Hopefully this is going to work. There. And I'm going to string my beads. This cord goes nicely through the hole in these beads. Again, not stringing it any kind of particular pattern. Now I want to make my bracelet about 7.5 inches long. And of course, if you need yours smaller or larger, then you just need to adjust your beads accordingly. Okay, and actually I'm going to put this bead last because this has a nice large hole. So hopefully our knot will fit into that. I'm going to take my cord and then give this a tie. And then pull it really well. Oops. Hold on, where are we at? I don't want to... Okay, there we go. Tie it, give it a nice pull so that knot pulls down. Okay, now I'm going to hold the knot down and pull the cord to one side, so that way I'm just kind of pulling that knot. Do it with the other side, the other cord. Make sure this knot is going to stay. Like I said, I'm not used to working with such thick cord. Okay. Yes, that is so cute. Okay. Now we are going to put a little bit of glue on the knot and then cut the cord. And I always like to put the glue on first before I cut the cord, because that way I know exactly where the knot is. Once you cut the cord, then it's hard to find the knot. So, especially if you have thinner cord, then, you know, it is really hard to find the knot after, which is a good thing. I mean, you don't want to easily see the knot, but if you want to put glue on it to, you know, keep the knot from slipping, then it's easier to do that before you cut the cord. Now cut your cord close to your knot. Yes, this is very cute. Okay, now we are going to add our cowrie shell flower. Yeah, maybe right between these. Yes, that's perfect. So I'm just going to take my flower, and since I still have the cord attached, I'm going to tie my cord around the beads and the stretch cord. And hopefully this is going to work. Yes. 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 I love it. Perfect. That is so cute. It looks perfect with the bracelet. Okay, now I'm going to cut this cord. Okay, so I added a little bit of twine, and I'm going to add a couple of beads to this because I want it to have the same design element as the necklace, because right now it looks kind of just like a sunflower bracelet. I want it to go with my necklace. Yes, that is cute. I really like this. And of course, I do have to add a little bit of my bandana piece. Okay, we're going to get this in here. Okay, let's see. Let's experiment. Okay, I mean, it works for bead. I mean, yes, I actually like it. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work for you, then, don't do it. But I like it. I like that, and I like the little addition of the twine with the beads, and of course, our little Cory shell flower. I do like that. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to add. I think that's good. The bracelet was just, an addition. I didn't really plan on doing it, so yeah, but I like it. I do like it. Okay, you guys. Okay, beaters. Well, I guess this is no longer a Coastal Chaos Relic necklace. Now we have a Coastal Chaos Relic jewelry set. And I absolutely love it. I love the addition of the bracelet with the beautiful Cory shell flower and, of course, the bandana and the little accent with the twine and the beads. I absolutely love this set, the necklace, the bracelet. It is totally unique and very artisan, like you just found it at a small artisan little shop along the ocean. I absolutely love it. Well, you guys, let me know what you think. What was your favorite element of this design? The African trade beads, the cowrie shell flower, the bandana, or the treasure cluster focal from the necklace? If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future jewelry tutorials and bead adventures. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.